For many years, fair skin has been deeply ingrained as a beauty standard, especially in many Asian cultures. Advertisements constantly showcase bright, flawless faces, accompanied by promises such as instant brightening, whitening in 7 days, or visible tone-up after just one treatment. That when these messages are repeated often enough, we gradually form an almost subconscious belief. The whiter the skin, the more beautiful it is. And if it's beautiful, it must also be healthy. However, this is a mistaken assumption that equates surface color with biological health. In reality, skin color is primarily determined by melanin, a natural pigment that plays a crucial role in protecting the skin from ultraviolet radiation. Melanin is not a flaw to be eliminated. It is an intelligent defense mechanism of the body. When we attempt to suppress or reduce melanin at all costs, we are interfering with a system designed to protect us. More importantly, skin color does not truly reflect skin health. Fair skin can still have a compromised barrier, an imbalanced lipid layer, disrupted pH levels, or persistent low-grade inflammatory state. It does not tell whether the skin retained moisture effectively or whether it had the capacity to regenerate and repair itself after damage. It's entirely possible to encounter individuals with very bright complexion whose skin is highly sensitive, easily irritated by weather change, prone to break out under stress, or showing early signs of aging due to weakened structural support beneath the surface. Conversely, skin that may not be extremely fair but feel resilient, elastic, less reactive, and capable of quick recovery is far more likely to be truly healthy. Whiteness is a visual characteristic, something the eye perceives under certain lighting conditions. Health, on the other hand, is a complex biological state involving structure, function, and the skin's ability to adapt over time. When we focus excessively on tone-up result while neglecting physiological foundation, we risk sacrificing long-term stability for short-term effect. Therefore, before chasing brighter skin, it's essential to understand what whiteness and health are not synonymous. Truly beautiful skin is not only luminous on the surface, but also strong and balanced from within. When we talk about healthy skin, many people immediately picture a smooth, flawless, and bright complexion. However, from a scientific perspective, healthy skin is not defined by perfection in appearance, but by physiological stability. In other words, healthy skin is skin whose structure and function operate in a harmonious, balanced, and sustainable way over time, regardless of whether the skin tone is light or dark. It is a living biological system capable of adapting to environmental changes, defending itself against harmful factors, and repairing itself after damage. At the foundation of healthy skin lies an intact skin barrier. This barrier is primarily composed of the outermost layer of the epidermis along with a lipid matrix that includes ceramide, cholesterol, and free fatty acid. The structure functions like a brick wall. Skin cells are the brick and lipids are the mortar, holding them together. When the structure is well maintained, the skin can effectively prevent the penetration of bacteria, pollutant, irritant, and allergen, while also minimizing transepidermal water loss. When the barrier is compromised, the skin becomes dry, tight, reactive, breakout prone, and overly sensitive to factors that would otherwise be harmless. Beyond physical structure, healthy skin also requires biochemical balance. The lipid layer must be sufficient and properly proportionate to keep the surface supply without excessive oiliness. The skin pH plays a critical role as well. A slightly acidic pH, typically around 4.5 to 5.5, help inhibit harmful bacteria and support enzyme activity involving cell renewal. When pH balance is disrupted due to harsh cleanser or overuse of active ingredient, the skin may enter a prolonged stage of imbalance, leading to inflammation and sensitivity. Another essential component of healthy skin is the skin microbiome, the community of beneficial microorganisms living on the surface. This microbiome acts as a biological shield, competing with harmful bacteria and helping regulate local immune response. When the microbiome is balanced, the skin is less prone to inflammatory breakout and excessive reactivity. However, when it is disrupted by over-exfoliation, prolonged antibiotic use, or unsuitable product, the risk of chronic inflammation and recurring acne increase significantly. Equally important is the skin's ability to regulate inflammation. Inflammation is a natural defense mechanism, but when it becomes chronic at a low level, often referred to as subclinical inflammation, it can silently degrade collagen and elastin, accelerating the aging process. Healthy skin is not skin that never becomes inflamed. Rather, it is skin that can activate and resolve inflammatory response appropriately. When minor irritation or acne occurs, healthy skin tends to recover relatively quickly without long-term consequences. In daily life, healthy skin often reveals itself through subtle but meaningful signs. Its does become excessively red when the weather changes. It does not react dramatically when introduced to a basic new skincare product. If acne appears, it is usually mild and heals without prolonged inflammation. The surface may not be flawless. It may have visible pores or slight pigmentation, but it appears resilient, firm, and naturally radiant rather than artificially brightened through aggressive treatment. Most importantly, healthy skin has a capacity for cell repair. After a few nights of poor sleep, it may look dull temporarily but can regain balance with proper rest. After mild irritation, it can stabilize without requiring intense intervention. This adaptability is one of the clearest indicators of true biological health. In contrast, skin that appears bright only because of aggressive treatment, such as excessive exfoliation overexpression of melanin, or reliance of high concentration actives often lose its autonomy when the products are discontinued. The skin may reborn with breakout, irritation, or heightened sensitivity. Therefore, healthy skin is not synonymous with cosmetic perfection. It represents symptomic stability, functional balance, and long-term resilience. It may not be the fairest skin in the room, but it is likely to be the most sustainable and enduring. In the journey of skincare, the ultimate goal should not be to create immediate visual effect, but to cultivate a strong skin ecosystem capable of protecting and renewing itself over time. The instant tone-up mechanism promoted by many whitening products is essential and aggressive intervention into the skin's natural physiological processes to create visibly brighter skin in a short period of time. These products often directly target melanin production, the pigment responsible for determining skin color. Melanin is a crucial biological defense mechanism that protects the skin from ultraviolet radiation and environmental stress. However, when melanin production is excessively or continuously suppressed, the result is not only reduced pigmentation, but also a weakened natural defense system. Attempting to whiten the skin rapidly by strongly inhibiting melanin is similar to disabling a fire alarm instead of addressing the source of the fire. The surface may appear improved, but the protective system is compromised. In addition to suppressing pigmentation, another common approach is thinning or exfoliating the stratum corneum, the outermost layer of the skin. This layer acts as a protective sheet, regulating water loss and preventing bacterial invasion. When it is excessively exfoliated or repeatedly exposed to strong active ingredient, the skin surface reflects more light, create the appearance of smoother, brighter skin. However, thinning this protective layer makes the skin more vulnerable to UV radiation, pollution, and chemical irritant. Without its natural armor, the skin becomes more prone to redness, irritation, and sensitivity. Some products also rely on corticosteroids to create an immediate anti-inflammatory effect. Corticosteroids can reduce redness, swelling, and inflammation quickly, making the skin appear clearer and more even-toned. In the short term, this may give the impression of healthier skin with fewer breakouts. However, uncontrolled or prolonged use of corticosteroids can lead to skin thinning, dilated blood vessels, and suppression of local immune function. Once discontinued, the skin often experiences a rebound effect, severe breakout, redness, and heightened sensitivity that can be worse than before. Another method used to achieve rapid brightening is accelerating skin cell turnover. By pushing the renewal cycle to occur faster than normal, the skin may appear fresher and more radiant in a short time. However, the natural skin renewal cycle in adults typically takes around 28 days and slow with age. When this process is forced to speed up continuously, the skin does not have sufficient time to mature properly and reinforce its protective barrier. As a result, it may become structurally weaker and more susceptible to damage. Initially, the intervention often produces very appealing results: visibly brighter skin, temporary reduction in acne, and a smooth, plump surface. This is precisely why many people perceive such products as highly effective. However, these improvements are largely based on surface-level changes or suppression of natural biological mechanisms rather than genus enhancement of skin health. Behind the rapid whitening effect lies a range of potential consequence. The skin barrier gradually weakened, leading to increased transpiration, more water loss. The microbiome, an essential part of the skin's natural defense, can become imbalanced due to alteration in the surface environment. When this balance is disrupted, acne-causing bacteria may proliferate more easily. At the same time, low-grade chronic inflammation can develop as the skin is repeatedly stimulated without adequate time to recover. Sensitivity to sunlight also increases because the protective melanin sheath has been suppressed and the barrier layer has been thinned. Fundamentally, skin that brightens rapidly is often skin that is being forced to function beyond its natural physiological capacity. Rather than supporting structural integrity and biological resilience, the approach compels the skin to conform to immediate unrealistic standard. While short-term results may be satisfying, long-term over-intervention can impair the skin's ability to self-regulate and self-repair, two of the most critical components of true skin health. Therefore, before being pursued by promiscuous visible brightening in just a few days, it is essential to understand that any biological change occurring too rapidly usually comes with a cost. The skin requires time to adapt, rebuild, and strengthen. Changes that occur naturally and gradually are far more sustainable than those forced into existence in a short period. Low-grade inflammation is a subtle yet persistent inflammatory state within the skin. Unlike acute inflammation, which presents dramatically with redness, swelling, heat, and pain, low-grade inflammation operates quietly beneath the surface because it does not manifest in overt or intense symptoms. It is often overlooked or misinterpreted as vague, stubborn skin issues. Biological, however, is represent one of the most destructive long-term threats to the skin's structural integrity and functional balance. In this stage, immune cells remain mildly but continuously activated, releasing inflammatory mediators such as cytokines, and tissue-degrading enzymes. While this activity may not cause immediate visible damage, its chronic persistence gradually erode the skin's foundational structure over time. One common manifestation of low-grade inflammation is persistent, recurring acne. The skin may not develop surface cystic lesions. gets small inflammatory palm, close come downs, or recurring breakout appear repeatedly and resist resolution. Additionally, even minor lesions tend to leave post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation that fade more slowly than usual. This occurs because pigment producing cells are overstimulated by the prolonged inflammatory environment, leading to excessive melanin production after injury. When healing is also compromised, minor scratches or small pimples that should resolve within days may linger for weeks. The skin becomes increasingly sensitive, reacting with stinging or irritation to new product and becoming more vulnerable to sunlight and environmental changes. Over time, the most significant consequence of low-grade inflammation is the breakdown of collagen and elastin, the two essential proteins responsible for maintaining firmness and elasticity. Enzymes such as gastric metalloproteinase MMPs activate within inflammatory conditions, degrade collagen fiber faster than the body can rebuild them. As a supportive framework weaken, early fine lines, mild sagging, and a loss of natural plumpness begin to appear. Importantly, this deterioration progresses gradually rather than dramatically, meaning many individuals only notice the damage, only visible signs of aging are already established. Therefore, low-grade inflammation is not merely associated with acne or pigmentation issues. It's also a key mechanism driving premature skin aging. Multiple factors can contribute to the development of the chronic inflammation stage. Overuse of aggressive brightening products, harsh exfoliant, or ingredient that excessively suppress natural skin physiology can disrupt the protective barrier. Once the barrier is compromised, transpider more water loss increase, and bacteria or irritant penetrate more easily. The skin's immune system remains in a constant stage of patent alarmist, perpetuating ongoing inflammation, chronic stress, sleep deprivation, environmental pollution, and unprotected UV exposure further fuel this inflammatory cycle if not properly managed. An important distinction must be made. Instant skin brightening can sometimes result from temporarily suppressing inflammation, obtaining the outermost layer of skin to enhance light reflection. The surface may appear smoother and more luminous, but if underlying inflammation persists, this effect is merely cosmetic camouflage. Once the product is discontinued, the artificial suppression is removed. Issues such as acne, redness, and pigmentation often rebound more instantly. In contrast, truly healthy skin not only appear radiant but also regulate inflammatory responses effectively. When confronted with stressor, its activate protective mechanism appropriately, then effectively resolve inflammation and restore equilibrium. For this reason, sustainable skincare should not focus solely on rapid brightening, but rather on long-term inflammatory control. This involves strengthening the skin barrier, maintaining adequate hydration, protecting against UV radiation, managing stress, and selective active ingredient at appropriate concentration rather than overwhelming the skin with aggressive intervention. When inflammation is well controlled, acne and pigmentation decrease, collagen degradation slow, and the aging process progresses more gradually. Instant whitening may conceal inflammation, but only genuinely healthy skin has a capacity to regulate and resolve inflammation from within. The skin barrier is the fundamental foundation that determines whether skin is genuinely healthy. It can be compared to a fortified wall surrounding the body, constructed from the stratum corneum, intercellular lipid, and natural microbiome residing on the skin. This barrier is not merely physical but also biological, functioning continuously to maintain internal balance. When properly structured and functioning effectively, it prevents bacteria, virus, and environmental aggressor from penetrating wires, simultaneously retaining water and natural moisturizing factor within the skin. As a result, the skin maintains hydration, softness, and the ability to recover from daily stressors such as sunlight, wind, pollution, and temperature fluctuation. When the barrier is strong, the skin demonstrates remarkable stability. It becomes less reactive when trying new products, less prone to rashness after cleansing, and less sensitive to climate change. A balanced microbiome limits the overgrowth of acne-causing bacteria, thereby reducing inflammatory breakout. Even when minor damage occurs, the skin heals more efficiently and is less likely to develop post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Importantly, a resilient barrier reduces dependency on aggressive skincare products. There is no constant need for high concentration active to fix problem because the skin can self-regulate and defend itself effectively. Overall, the skin feels hydrated, elastic, and balanced, neither excessively oily nor uncomfortably right. Conversely, when the barrier becomes compromised, persistent issues begin to arise. The skin may flush easily even during routine cleansing. Active ingredients such as retinol or exfoliating acids may cause prolonged stinging, burning, and peeling. A common paradox emerges: the skin produces more oil yet remains dehydrated. This occurs because increased transpire more water loss trigger compensatory sebum production, but oil cannot fully replace structural lipid. As a result, the surface appears shining while deeper layers remain moisture deficient and vulnerable to inflammation. barrier impairment not only increase sensitivity but also contribute to chronic low-grade inflammation. When irritant and microbes penetrate more easily, the immune system stays continuously activated. Over time, this elevates the risk of persistent acne, post-inflammatory pigmentation, and even accelerate aging due to enhanced collagen breakdown. Many individuals mistakenly prioritize rapid brightening or smoothing effect, but without a stable conductive foundation, such surface improvements are fragile and unsustainable. Skin that appear white yet feel things, irritated, and dependent on strong caustic cannot be considered healthy. Dependence becomes evident when discontinuing a product immediately result in breakout or discoloration. This indicates weakened physiological cell regulation. In contrast, truly healthy skin tolerates minor environmental fluctuations without overreacting. It does not require constant forced exfoliation or artificial brightening to maintain clarity and balance over time. Therefore, sustainable skincare must begin with strengthening the barrier. This includes choosing gentle cleanser, avoiding excessive exfoliation, replenishing lipids such as ceramide, cholesterol, and fatty acids. The practicing consistent sun protection, adequate sleep, stress management, and balanced nutrition further enhance skin resilience. When the protective wear is satisfied, the skin not only looks better in the present but also preserves long-term health. In essence, the skin barrier is the central key that determines whether skin is genuinely healthy or merely temporarily improved at the surface level. In modern skincare culture, rapid results are often perceived as proof of effectiveness within days or a week of using brightening or toner product. Many individuals notice visible changes. The skin appears lighter, more even, and more radiant in the mirror. Psychological immediate improvement generates a strong sense of satisfaction and confidence. When the skin looks brighter, we tend to feel more youthful and polished. However, short-term visual changes do not necessarily reflect genuine physiological improvement. The critical question is not how the skin looks after 7 days, but how it will perform and appear 7 years later. When skin is repeatedly exposed to aggressive brightening mechanisms, such as continuous exfoliation, excessive melanin suppression, of the use of ingredients that temporarily constrict blood vessels and reduce inflammation, the foundational structure of the skin may gradually be compromised. At first, the damage goes unnoticed because the surface remains smooth and luminous. Over time, however, repeated intervention weaken the skin barrier and sustain low-grade inflammation. This chronic inflammatory environment accelerates collagen's breakdown beyond the body's natural regenerative capacity. As collagen declined, the skin progressively loses structural support. become thinner, and exhibit reduced elasticity. Thinning of the skin is not merely a subjective perception but a real structural alteration within the dermis. As the supportive matrix weakened, the skin becomes more susceptible to gravitational staging. Areas such as the nasolabial fold, corner of the mouth, and eye contour may develop early creases relative to biological age. Initially, fine lines appear subtly visible only during facial expression, but over the years they deepen into established wrinkle. This process unfolds gradually and silently, and by the time visible aging becomes prominent, complete reversal is extremely difficult. In contrast, skin that is nurtured with a focus on strengthening its foundational health, even without dramatic tone enhancement, demonstrate sustainable resilience over time. When the barrier remains intact, inflammation is well regulated, and renewal occurs within physiological limit. Collagen's preservation becomes more feasible, elasticity is maintained more consistently over the years. Instead of experiencing a rapid brightening followed by accelerated decline, healthy skin progressed steadily and sustainable. Its structure retained adequate thickness. Its surface remained balanced rather than excessively oily or tanned, and pigmentation appeared natural even. A crucial distinction lies in stability. Healthy skin does not overreact to environmental fluctuation or to the discontinuation of a product. It adapts, self-regulates, and recover from common stressors such as sleep deprivation or climate change. In contrast, skin dependent on aggressive intervention often deteriorate quickly once artificial support is withdrawn. This creates a cycle of dependencies. The stronger the intervention need to maintain short-term brightness, the weaker the skin becomes, requiring even more intensive measure. Ultimately, this long-term difference between rapidly whitened skin and genuinely healthy skin extends beyond color. It encompasses dermal thickness, collagen density, elasticity, and resilience against intrinsic and extrinsic aging. The parameters cannot be accurately just within days. They unfold over years. The decisions made today, whether to prioritize immediate cosmetic brightness or to invest in sustainable physiological balance, the shape the future condition of the skin. The differences do not lie in the first 7 days of visible improvement. It lies in 7 years that follow, when one complexion maintains firmness and structural integrity, while the other begins to reveal the cumulative consequence of chronic overstimulation and premature aging. In today's skincare world, many people obsess over the question, how can I make my skin brighter quickly? Or how can I tone up in just 7 days? The questions stem from the desire for instant result, societal pressure, and constant advertising that equate bright skin with beauty. However, this approach often overlook the skin through physiological foundation, and the long-term result is only unsustainable but can also be harmful. Instead of focusing on surface brightness, the key question should be, how can I make my skin healthy, stable, and capable of long-term cell repair? When you prioritize the foundational factor, improvement in skin tone and surface appearance occur naturally, sustainably, and safely. First, attention must be given to the skin barrier. This barrier, composed of stratum corneum, structural lipid, and the resident microbiome, function like a protective wall that shields the skin from environmental aggressor while retaining moisture. A strong barrier reduces irritation, redness, and prevent dehydration. Overuse of harsh product can damage this barrier, leading to teens' sensitive skin prone to inflammation and dependence on strong chemistry. Strengthening the barrier through proper hydration, replenishment of lipids like ceramide, cholesterol, and fatty acids, and avoid exfoliation is a foundational step in the building resilient skin. Second, focus on underlying inflammation, the silent factor that damages skin over time. Low-grade chronic inflammation often goes unnoticed but contributes to persistent acne, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, delayed healing, and premature aging. Using gentle ingredients such as low concentration niacinamide, panthenol, madecassoside, and hyaluronic acid can soothe the skin, maintain hydration, and stabilize the barrier. Lifestyle factors like an anti-inflammatory diet, sufficient sleep, and stress reduction also play a crucial role in managing internal inflammation. When inflammation is controlled, the skin cell regulate, experiences fewer breakouts, less redness, and enhance natural recovery. Third, oil-water balance determines long-term stability. Many believe oily skin require complete oil removal, or dry skin need heavy hydration. In reality, a compromised barrier can underlying inflammation often lead to paradoxical imbalance. Skin become oily on the surface yet hydrated underneath. Multi-layered, lightweight hydration and appropriate product selection help the skin regulate sebum production and maintain moisture balance naturally. Fourth, nourishment from within is equally essential. Skin health reflects internal well-being, influenced by diet, sleep, and mental state. Anti-inflammatory food like dark leafy green, omega-3 rich fish, and natural fermented food help reduce inflammation inflammation and support barrier function from within. Adequate sleep, balanced hormone, and aid cellular renewal, while long-term stress elevates cortisol, promoting inflammation and slowing recovery when the body is nurtured holistically. The skin mirrors this health, even-toned, naturally radiant surface, minimal need to coverage, and reduce dependence on a strong product. Finally, remember, healthy skin does not have to be the brightest, but it must be the most stable. Truly healthy skin cell regulate, maintain its barrier, control inflammation, and balance oil and water. Skin color is merely an external indicator. Long-term resilience depends on underlying physiological health. By focusing on these core elements, improvement in tone, texture, and overall appearance occur naturally, sustainably, and safely. Attempting to force brightness only offers temporary result and risk barrier disruption, underlying inflammation, and premature aging. Stable skin, in contrast, glow naturally, maintain even pigmentation, and withstand environmental stressor, offering long-term beauty without compromising health. In summary, rather than chase rapid brightening product, ask, how can I strengthen my barrier, produce underlying inflammation, balance oils and water, and nourish from within? Prioritizing these factors result in naturally even-toned skin, healthy surface, minimal needs for coverage, and independence from strong cosmetic. This represents the true standard of sustainably healthy skin. In the world of skincare, we are often obsessed with bright, smooth, and even-toned skin. Advertisement, social media, and societal pressure constantly emphasize that the brighter and more radiant the skin, the more beautiful and attractive it is. This has led many to believe that whiteness is the ultimate standard of beauty, while few consider the biological aspect that truly determines skin health. In reality, brightness is an artistic factor, while health is a biological factor. Bright, radiant skin can boost confidence, but it does not guarantee resilience, control of underlying inflammation, or long-term elasticity and structural stability. Conversely, healthy skin may not appear instantly bright, but it has a stable foundation, a strong protective barrier, control inflammation, balanced microbiome, and excellent adaptability to environmental stressor. You can make your skin appear brighter through various methods: strong exfoliation, intensive brightening serum or creams, even intervention with corticosteroid and chemical peeling. These approaches deliver instant results, but over time weaken the skin barrier, increase chronic inflammation, thin the skin, and create dependency on strong product. Skin forced to brighten quickly lose its natural ability to self-regulate and recover, create a cycle of dependency and long-term fragility. On the other hand, building truly healthy skin requires respecting the skin's natural physiological mechanism. This includes strengthening the barrier with proper hydration and essential lipid, controlling underlying inflammation with gentle product, and a healthy lifestyle, maintaining our water balance, and nourishing the skin from within through diet, sleep, and stress reduction. When the skin is healthy, improvement in tone and texture happen naturally. The skin become evenly toned, softly radiant, smooth, require minimal coverage, and is less dependent on potent products. This is the only path to long-lasting beauty, not through temporary effect, but through genuine healthy. Before you strive to brighten your skin, ask yourself, do you want quickly brightened skin or long-term healthy skin? Ultimately, true beauty does not come from transient brightness, but from the ability to maintain stability, elasticity, and resilience over the years. By focusing on the skin physiological foundation, you achieve not only eternal beauty but also lasting health and enabling your skin to naturally resist inflammation, aging, and environmental stressor. Real beauty begins with inner stability and long-term sustainability, not with short-lived effect promised by quick-fix products.